Hello again out there in remote learning land. Today's hot topic, we're going to connect latitude and longitude, but now we're going to get a little more precise. Right, last week we talked about latitude-Polaris connection. And yesterday we talked about longitude's connection with time zones and time on your watch and when you travel, why that's got to change. Well, today we're going to put the two back together and get more precise. Instead of just a degree, we're going to break it down even smaller, because between every line of latitude is almost 70 miles. So if you can't break that down, more precisely, to find a specific point is almost impossible. So we break it down into what's called degrees, and even further, seconds. So degrees, minutes, and then seconds. And we'll go through that now, and that's not to be confused with minutes and seconds on a clock. So it's a little different, but you'll get it. All right, hopefully you cranked on those prologue do now questions. All right, and let's get started. So, Davy Jones' treasure chest. I don't know if there's any Pirates of the Caribbean fans out there. It's a pretty good sequence of movies. Anyway, Davy Jones hid the treasure from Jack Sparrow. Where do you hide it? And you got to use those coordinates. Well, unless you know the coordinate, you're never going to find the gold. So, it's not just a degree this time. You'll notice there's another number after that. And that's that more precise thing I'm talking about. Those are minutes. So hit pause and see if you can figure out where that is. Okay. So 40 degrees latitude is here. But it's also here. So, oh my goodness, what do? Well, it says 40 degrees, 22 minutes. Well, here's 40 degrees, 15 minutes. Here's 40 degrees, 20 minutes. Here's 25, so 22's got to be somewhere on this line of latitude. And for longitude, well, it says 117.50. Well, here's 117, and here's 118. 117.45, 117.50, and son of a gun, in Puerto Rico. All right? So the minutes help you narrow it down. If you just did it by the degree, you would never, ever be able to pinpoint anything on Earth. It's too vague. Okay? So, this is how we do it. If you take a look at the simple grid here, here's 40 degrees, here's 41, halfway. I know you want to say 0.5, but they go like on a clock in a sense, where there's 60 minutes in an hour. So halfway would be 30, right? 40 degrees, 30 minutes. Same thing here. Here's 41, here's 42. Halfway would be 41 degrees and 30 minutes. Works the same for longitude, right? Here's 76, here's 77. Halfway is 76 degrees and 30 minutes. Same thing here. Halfway between 77 and 78, 77 degrees and 30 minutes. And you could break it down even smaller than that. For example, take a look. What if you're halfway between the 41 degrees and no minutes and 41 degrees and 30 minutes? Well, what's halfway between there? Hopefully you said 15, right? So that would be about 41 degrees and 15 minutes north. Okay? Well, if you did it over here, in between 40 degrees and 30 minutes and 41, remember, this is another 30 minutes until you get to the next degree. So this would be 31, 32, 33, 34, 59, and eventually the next degree. So that would be about 45 minutes. All right, just like on a clock, 3/4 of the way to the next hour is 45 minutes. And the same thing works for lines of longitude, right? If this is the 30 mark, then what would that be? Halfway between 0 and 30, hopefully you're saying 15. Okay? Same thing here. Halfway between... Oh, I'm sorry, I skipped right here. That's 3/4 of the way, so that would be 45. The little guy down here is breaking it down even smaller. My remote's jumping around on me. And if you're only a little bit above the degree, so you would say a few more minutes. Well, in this case, you approximate. You say about 40 degrees and 5 minutes north. Okay? Not sure why it's jumping around on me. Sorry about that. Up here, same thing. 41 degrees, and it's almost there. It's not halfway. It's not 3/4 of the way. So about 50 minutes out of 60 to the north. Okay. And then we get to this map here. Now, this is the real New York State map. And it's going to ask you to pinpoint places on here using the whole minute system. So if this is the 43-degree latitude line, right? Sometimes you get a city that falls directly on it, but other times they're not. So you'd have to add a few minutes to figure out these cities. All right? Same thing with the longitude lines. If it's exactly on the 79, you get lucky. Like Niagara Falls is about exactly on the 79. But a lot of other cities are just off of that line, so you have to approximate the minutes. What if they asked you for Oswego? How would we figure that out? Well, here's the 43 line. Here's the 44 line. It's definitely in between. We're going to have to use that minute system. Okay? And that's drawn in. The tick mark here represents halfway. That's 30. So how much would you say for that difference? Okay, if you said 20 to 25, right? You'd be good. Technically, it's about 43 degrees, 28 minutes north. But you could skip by 5s. That's fine. And for the longitude, well, let's see where it falls. For the longitude, it's right in between 76 and 77. It's almost directly between them. So what's directly in the middle of 76 and 77? If you said 76 degrees in about 30 minutes, you're looking pretty good. Okay? Try one more. How about Slide Mountain? All right, put the latitude line in there. And you guys can do this with a ruler on your reference tables. And there it is. It's almost directly on the 42 line. So you wouldn't say minutes this time. You would just say 42 degrees and 0 minutes if you wanted to. Now let's check the longitude. The longitude, well, here's 75, here's 74. The halfway mark is here. It's just shy of that. So maybe you want to say 74 degrees and about 25 or so minutes, right? If you just want to approximate. Technically it's 28, but you can certainly go by 5s. That's fine. Okay. Can you find Elmont? All right, hit pause, take a minute, see if you can figure out where Elmont is. All right, well, let's see here. 40 degrees, 42 minutes north. Always start with the latitude, okay? Well, here's 40 degrees, 30 minutes. Here's 40 degrees. Oh, well, there's 41 degrees. So it's got to be somewhere in the middle of these two, somewhere along here. And now 73 degrees, 42 minutes. Well, here's 72 degrees. Here's 73 degrees. Here's 73:30. So 73:42 would be somewhere right in here. Make the two connect, and you're somewhere right in there. Okay, put a big old X. I put a Spartan there, but that's where Elmont is. That's where you are right now. All right, so let's wrap this up. Why is it important to know the coordinates to the minute? Hopefully you say something like, if you're just using degrees, it's not accurate enough, right? The minute is a much more concentrated, smaller area to pinpoint. All right, how is latitude different from longitude lines? That's all you guys, right? Get that in there. What is the difference between them? How are latitude lines labeled for New York State? How do you know? Refer back to your reference tables map and describe them to me. All right. How are longitude lines labeled for New York State? Again, give me like the type of number range they're in for New York State. Go to your map and say, well, they're usually between this number and that number type of thing. Okay. And then, of course, using the following coordinates of this and that, identify what is located. So please type in the city that's closest to that. All right, so polish these up. And then there's a little chart here. And there's a couple more in your GC. Tell me the coordinates of the city. And then here it's going to have to tell me the city based on the coordinates. And again, there's a few more to practice for as well. And we'll meet you back in the meet to see how you did. Okay.